King, that's for you.
All right. All right, so I'm just about to try the Twist restaurant here at Toronto Pearson International Airport with by Chef Roger Mooking, and looking forward to it. It's gonna be absolutely amazing, I'm sure, and I'm looking forward to this amazing experience. Gonna be able to have a conversation with Chef Mooking, and so let's check it out. Chef Roger here has asked me what I'd like. And I'm looking down the menu and I'm like, oh my god, I want everything, a little bit of everything, really. Let's see.
I start with the red sangria and hibiscus margarita French tea.
Thank you. All right. I was expecting to have a few more people around as well, so.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, no, this is great. Here, we'll put this on you as I react. Okay, so everything looks amazing, and I'm always naturally drawn to anything with the word fried in it. So I saw the fried chicken.
Okay, you gotta try the fried chicken.
Definitely.
A lot of people say, I love fried chicken. It's the best fried chicken I ever had, you know?
Okay. In that case, how about the fried chicken for sure there, and then she wanted the hummus. Was that maybe check out the pierogies, and then we see where we go from there. Okay. How about that? And then you can add a few options. Now I'm curious what your selection is going to be. No pressure, no pressure. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Amazing. So yeah, I'm here at Chef Roger Mooking's restaurant here, Twist, at the Toronto International Airport, and I'm about to try some of his new menu items for the season, and I'm very, very excited. Chef here is taking really good care of me. He's already ordered some fantastic drinks I'm looking forward to, and he's going to add some secret items to what I've already chosen, so this will be a fun adventure. And as you can see, it's only me and Chef Roger.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, thank you. So, this was the hibiscus margarita and the sangria. Amazing.
How about a sangria?
Alright, so I will give this a whirl. Just, yeah, gotta do that horrible influencer thing where I'm like, oh, hey. Ooh, oh, very nice.
So this is play off of, because I'm Trinidadian, born in Trinidad, and we use the hibiscus to make sorrel. It's a Christmas drink that we make.
Oh, okay.
So this is taking the idea of that hibiscus and throwing it into a margarita, you know.
No,
Hence
really
the kind
well.
of like North American comfort with the global elements. You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it definitely goes down way too easily. So, but it's great at the airport, because in case I need to catch my flight, and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have enough time. Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
There you go.
It's a shot.
And I'll take a little sample of the sangria, which I'm sure will be great. There's something different in there.
Yeah, we put some orange syrup in there.
Orange syrup.
Orange syrup and zest.
That's it. That's the extra sort of layer.
Little bit layer to it, yeah.
And also, once again, goes down way too easily. Since we're at the airport, is there a dish that if someone was to come visiting Toronto for the first time, is there something on your menu that you would, if you could pick one dish for them to try, you know, like you need to try this dish, would there be one? Or maybe if you can't pick one, a couple? And why would that
they're
be?
coming to Toronto.
Yeah, if they're visiting Toronto for the first time, and they're like,
I would say the fried chicken.
The fried chicken?
The fried chicken draws from a lot of different things. Okay? So our concept here is North American comfort food with a global twist. Okay? So the conundrum with that is trying not to make it seem convoluted and confusing. It's like, what is this dish? Like, so everything is presented in a way that, from a North American perspective, because we're in a North American environment, that it's recognizable. You look at it, it's fried chicken. I'm not intimidated by the fried chicken. But the techniques that we use and the ingredients that we use are drawing very subtly from a lot of different places, and it tells that food story of where we are. We're in an airport where lots of people from the world are moving. Toronto is a very multicultural city, so we start with a buttermilk, seasoned buttermilk, just like they do in the southern states, where the best fried chicken in the southern Americas are, right? And we do that for 24 hours. Then we pull it out into order. It's not like we have like chicken under a hot lamp, you know? To to order, we dredge it in a mix of 3 different dry mix, custom mix. And that's drawn from Chinese, Southern American states, and South America, that dredge. When it comes out, we finish it with some Japanese togarashi for a little bit of spice and color and flavor. And then it's served with you know how in Guangdong province they'll heap piles of fried basil or herbs on top of things? So there's fried basil on top of it that comes from my Chinese influence. Right. And then on the side is a dipping sauce that is honey lime mayo, which is sort of Southeast Asian flavor profile, that mix, right? Sort of Thai, right? That creaminess, those flavors. So the idea, and because I like everything to be interactive and immersive and playful, the concept is you cut the piece of the chicken, shatter some of the basil, dip it in the thing, and then in the sauce, and then take that sauce and use it like glue to stick the shattered basil. So you look at it and it's like, oh, this is fried chicken. It looks presented slightly differently, but when you taste it, it's like, oh, this isn't regular fried chicken. There's some other stuff going on here. So that's the story we're telling with every dish. And that dish probably draws from the most places, most subtly, but tells a simple story at the same time, you know?
We always like to go for the juicy gossip, so I'm gonna set you up for that.
Well, you already saw the back annals of the airport.
Behind the scenes of the
Behind
airport.
the scenes of the guts.
Just, I didn't care. Is there anything on your menu that is inspired perhaps by like a crazy or fun story from either one of your shows or a restaurant you've worked in or something, or one of your own properties?
Let me see the menu. Interesting. I'd say the pierogies is an interesting one like that. So my family was born in Trinidad. I was born in Trinidad, and I moved to Edmonton, Alberta when I was 5 years old.
Oh, that's quite went from a tropical paradise too.
But as a kid at 5 years old, it's like, oh, snow! I get to put on a snowsuit. It's fun, like a snowman, right? So my mother was always really focused on trying to understand the local culture in Edmonton. And the best way to understand culture, I've discovered, is through food.
Agreed.
So I would come home from school one day, and my mother would be with some like 85-year-old Ukrainian grandmother in our kitchen showing her how to make pierogies, right?
Perfect.
So I was always like, we didn't have mushroom toast. We did have pierogies, and anyways. So one day I walked in and this Baba is teaching my mother how to make pierogies, and like, oh, this is so crazy. And that, because she would just roll up on people in the grocery, start talking to them, be like, yo, what's that? What are you buying? What are you doing with that? Like, you know? So the story of that is really, when I opened this restaurant, I wanted to put pierogies on the menu, because later another friend of mine introduced me to fried pierogies, another Ukrainian family, right? So I was like, I gotta do fried pierogies. It's a great bar snack, it's quick and stuff, and I love chorizo. So we just take some pierogies, fry them, we top it with some chorizo that's been crisped up and some crema, and it's like, and it's just so simple. It goes great with beer. Like, you know, if you're just dipping through and having a drink. So that's a fun one with that stuff.
No, that's great.
That goes back to my grandmother, my mother, you know.
But I love the fact that you're saying she just randomly will just start.
Oh, she would roll up on people.
Yeah, because I have that horrible habit too, and I have to sometimes pull myself back if I try to think where I am, how they feel about this, like, you know. But I'll just kind of like, hey. Well.
And apparently she was quite charming because they show up at the house, like.
See, she's trying. I'm not so skilled at it, so that's why I have to be careful. Like,
read the show up at the house and be like, what's going on? And another time, some other culture would be there showing her something. I'm like, that's how my house was. So, because we're in an airport and I have to service customers that are 585, 105, and they may be coming in the same group. So we have to cater to every dietary restriction, every style, every kind of person, every demographic. Whereas like if I had a restaurant on the street, a steakhouse, there's a pretty specific customer. You can make the menu very specific to that customer and market to that customer very specifically. Here, we actually have to cater to everybody democratically.
That's true. So I hadn't thought of that aspect of it.
Right? So how do I do that, make it interesting, because I like it to be interesting, and service the customer in a way that they understand, but still getting the interesting experience, and make it quickly and not have 100 things on the menu, right? So we have a very compressed menu. So we do for our mains mix and match. So every main comes with a side. You either get like sweet potato with the sesame and butter, or you get spinach, or you can get jasmine rice with onion, or you can get French fries, right? So you can customize. So if you're a bodybuilder and you want protein and carbs, you order the fried chicken with the rice. If you are like on a low diet, you order the salmon with the sweet potato. And so it allows us to have the customer to customize their menu in their way and be able to do that, right? So that's the overall arching thing. But I also, because I'm playful, I like everything to be playful. So for instance, the fried chicken here is like I explained. What you encourage you is to cut some of it, dip it in the sauce, and then take some of the shattered basil. Because I want you to be able to play with your food, you know? The hummus here, for instance, inside of this tent, we're hiding some spiced masala chicken. So you play with it, you open it up like a flower, you go in with it, toasted cumin seeds, pomegranate, finish, so it's kind of warm and cool elements. The linguine here is finished with also lemon and sumac. So this is like, you know, sumac.
I've heard, what was sumac again?
Sumac is like a flowering plant that they dry, and it's bitter and sour. They use it in Istanbul, Middle Eastern countries a lot. So I like the bitterness from it, and so it's like having a creamy linguine, but with lemon, with the bitterness of sumac, and then it has pork lard on it. So I mean, like,
anytime you have the word lard, fat just makes everything.
So it's rich and delicious and familiar, but you're like, oh, there's some little elements. Same thing with the pierogies. You get the Spanish chorizo in there, so you get a little bit of spices and a little bit of chili, and the crema kind of smooths it out, and the richness of the starchiness of the pierogies themselves. Then they're fried, you know? So it's crunchy and creamy and spicy and mincy. So that's the story of what we have put here. To me, this is like an immigrant story. It's an airport story. It's a Toronto story. Because we're bringing together a lot of different elements and telling a lot of stories of a lot of different cultures in a very simple way on each plate. You know?
And I love that you brought, I mean, people often ask me what is Canadian food, and or what's, you know, or I have friends visiting, they're like, what should I have in Toronto? And I'm like, I don't know, because like you said, it's a place full of immigrants, so the food is just a mix of a whole bunch of different things all together. Like, I mean, wow, okay, there are certain things like, well, poutine is, I guess, more Quebecois. Yeah, so I mean, the food here, like you said, it's the people brought their food from where they're from, but of course they tweaked it a little bit, you know, from other influences that they had, and you just create something, you know, that's an homage to the original, but still, you know, beautiful. And yeah.
And the trick is to do it in a subtle enough way that it doesn't, because if you go overboard, then it's like, what is this? I don't even understand what this is anymore, you know? So doing it subtly enough that you can tell the story, but really it looks away, and but when you get in, you bite it, it's like, oh, that's something else in there. What's that about? And then you start the conversation, you know? So, boom, tar and feather it. Make sure you tar and feather it. Yeah, take a little hole.
You can't take me anymore. Sorry about that.
And it's soaked buttermilk, so it's super juicy still.
Already, it smells amazing.
Really
all I could do resist myself from getting it. So, alright, so drop it in there, and then drop in some of this.
Yeah, get some of that. And there you go. So good, right?
Oh my god, you're kidding me.
But it's simple too. It's simple too, right? Which is the trick.
And it's so tender too. Like, how do you...
Buttermilk, 24 hours, seasoned buttermilk. And you have to understand the challenges of that in an airport environment are unique from on the street to be able to try and execute that kind of stuff, you know? That's good fried chicken, right?
I mean, I spent a lot of time in Georgia and Louisiana.
Yeah.
And so I've sampled a lot of fried chicken. So when people are like, I gotta get fried, I'm like, let me this is amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm drawing on the techniques, like, so like, you know, Koreans are really good at fried chicken. There's an ingredient in my dredge that pulls from that, and China also. So I pulled from that. And so this is We have toasted cumin seeds. So to me, a lot of cultures do that, but to me, that reminds me of in Sichuan province, they use a lot of cumin, toasted cumin. So I grow up a lot of toasted cumin, right? So we take the hummus, we make a hummus, we toast the cumin seeds, it's drawing from that. We make a masala ground chicken, which is sort of Indian-inspired flavors. Finish with pomegranate, which is very common for hummus in Mediterranean cuisine. Parsley and pomegranate, of course, yeah?
Alright, so you can take first crack at it.
Yo, but let's do it like this.
So I'll create some B-roll as
Let's do it like this so we can play with it, okay?
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Ah, the unveiling.
And so it has been revealed.
And then the treasure.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're feeding me now?
There you go. What service? What service?
Service with a smile. King, this for you.
All right. And that's the one thing I do like, that, like you said, everything on the menu is not intimidating. It's very recognizable. You know,
To a North American audience.
Yeah, to a North American, yeah. Or at least to yeah, actually.
To a North American audience,
Yeah.
yes.
And I mean, and like you said, you have to. I mean, it's helpful to do that, especially here, just because of the clientele you'll be getting. It's not as diverse, so.
Because we're the domestic terminal of the airport as well.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people just flying inside of Canada to other parts of Canada. So there's that. You know, we get a lot of miners going to Alberta, or people going to the East Coast to work on the mines as well. And so, you know, they're like blue collar, hardworking people. They like pasta. I like fried chicken.
Yeah.
And they order it and they're like, oh, but this is different.
All right.
Make sure you get some chorizo with it and the crema.
So
That's a hand.
I tried to be. I tried to be fancy. All right.
Just
Good.
put the chorizo
All right,
on it.
I feel better. All right. That's what my viewers are used to.
Throw a chorizo on there then.
There you go.
There
right.
you go.
Let's do this. It's like all the street food I ate in Colombia. It's like.
Yeah, no, that's what's up.
I love it.
Have you ever had a fried pierogi? No. You have.
My brother-in-law's Ukrainian, and so his family has put a lot, and this ranks right up there with theirs. And so, see, I can't say it's better in there because they'll get mad at me.
Yeah, no, I got you.
His mom will be really upset otherwise,
got you.
but it might be a
But
little
you know,
bit.
when you look at me, you might not think I grew up eating pierogies. Like,
No.
you know, I ate a lot of pierogies growing up in Alberta, right? But you see, if you're coming in quickly, some people just want to sit at the bar, have a couple drinks. So this is like very complimentary to sitting in the bar having some drinks.
For sure.
Yeah.
You have just changed my entire sort of airport routine. The next time flying domestic.
Good, good. Well, we've been doing that for 10 years. We had a lot of people who used to just go to the lounge.
Yeah.
Now they're like, screw it, I'll come early, spend extra time here because the people are so friendly, the food is good, the drinks are good, and I get on the plane relaxed and happy, you know? So I try out some of this. So this is our creamy linguine. It is a creamy linguine featuring the tartness of lemon and sumac. And of course the lardons of bacon.
There you go. Woo. Thank you, sir.
Use a little creamy. Take some of the creamy one.
And I never had fried pierogi.
No? It's good, right?
And just like little chorizo, it's just kind of like the cherry on top.
Yeah, of course. But it's just very simple. Very simple.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh my God, that pork lard is amazing.
So good, the pork lard on
Great
that.
idea.
Pork, cream, pasta.
You need to sell your own line of pork lard. And you just kind of tell people just put this on something with very specific instructions. But
the
pork
rich
lard.
and the fatness of the pork is cut with the lemon and cut with the
Yeah.
sumac, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You don't overdo it, otherwise it's just too much.
Too much.
I mean, I'll head back at some point. So now I remember, make time for the lounge.
If you ever go through, make sure you can, even if you're transiting through, Go through Istanbul and go through the lounge. And the ice cream is the best ice cream in the world comes from Turkey.
Yeah, that was so. That was very nice. Although while I was there, I was lucky enough. I was in the Cappadocia region. We actually went for like a cooking class.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got to make some of those dumplings and just it was like basically this family that does it, but is there the grandma that was like the she's the boss basically. And so it was funny that she kind of like she doesn't speak a lot of English, but what she does do well is give everyone nicknames.
Oh, really?
And she's shouting orders at you.
If you ever go through Singapore, get this cake. Are you familiar with Bagawan Solo cake?
No.
Bagawan Solo, as it sounds. Okay. It's a national institution. It's this special cake with like, I don't remember how many layers. I think it's like 26 layers or some outlandish amount of layers. You'll buy a piece of cake like this for like $100. It's amazing. It's worth every penny. Bagawan Solo, and they sell it in the airport. Okay. It's a big thing in the airport.
I'll have to, and now eat it on board the plane.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So, pho hunter, where is the best pho in the world that you've had, or some of the best pho that you've had?
Some of the best pho in the world that I've had.
You already mentioned like
New Orleans. New Orleans. Interestingly enough, New Orleans. And along the Cambodian-Vietnamese border on the Cambodia side, there was a place that was doing amazing.
Okay. And what makes these pho's stand out for you?
It just hits every part of joy. Like, all the salty joy, all the sweet joy, the sour joy, the fresh herbs, the richness of all that starch. The broth is fatty. Like, it's like just everything.
And it's good for you too, right? All the collagen in the broth there.
Well, it's good for you to a certain point. Like, you know, like too much collagen causes you other problems. I am an addict. That's my dying meal. Nice. I'll eat that every day and be happy.
Well, I'm gonna sneakily eat this pierogi here. I'm gonna put you on the spot and distract people again as to, it might be hard for you to choose, but do you have a favorite dish on the menu? And is there any particular reason why it would be your favorite dish? I know it's like choosing your child.
Well, no, you know, it's like my child. Some I like better other days than others. That's not true. I love you all. I'm just playing. Yeah, it depends on the day. Like some days I'm like, I really want mushroom toast. Some days I'm like, I really want hummus. Some days I want fried chicken, or like, it really depends. But I do know everything is delicious, you know, so I'm not worried.
Is there any sort of dish that you've always wanted to try to perfect that you haven't gotten around to figuring out just yet? Maybe you're still tinkering with it, or there's some flavors that you think you're meshing together that you're like, I don't know how I can completely make this work, but I know that it'll work, you know, at some point? Or is there anything that you're experimenting with? You don't have to give away too many details, but
I love making biscuits.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love, there's so many different styles of biscuits. Drop biscuits, like pressed up biscuits, quick biscuits, laminated biscuits. I love playing around with biscuits, like something very tactile and beautiful, but playing with dough to begin with, right? So I love that aspect of it, but I love experimenting with biscuits for some reason.
How did that come about? Like, is this something that was a childhood sort of memory, or is it just something you came on?
We didn't grow up eating biscuits as a child at all.
Well, I mean, I know that you grew up eating pierogi, so
yeah, well, it's true. I mean, I traveled a lot in the South doing man-fire food, you know, for like a decade or whatever. Yeah. And so I would try see so many different types of biscuits, and you know, everybody's like swears their biscuit's the best.
Yeah,
right?
no.
So I'd go to the places that like, they're the best in Louisiana, they're the best in South Carolina, and I'd see all these very different styles. And then I would take like, you know, the lamination process of like making puff pastry, and I'd incorporate that into my biscuit making procedure. Laminating it over and over, putting it back in the fridge, coming out, folding it, rolling it, folding it, rolling it, but for biscuits. And so you go on my Instagram, you'll see biscuits with like layers, and it's like puffed. So I like to make biscuits. Different flavors in them, lemon. I do like some jalapeno cheddar biscuits, or like sweetened, cured, pickled jalapeno inside of it as well. And all kinds, man.
No, biscuits are delicious, and I mean, I never even thought, I didn't think that much of it, but as I said, just because I spent time in the South, I just had a lot of biscuits. But it's usually, for the most part, just like plain biscuits or made up with cheese in it. But usually, I mean, they'll load it with gravy or something. Like, there are other things that go along with it. It's more of an accompaniment.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're almost creating an entire meal of this biscuit. So.
Oh yeah, man, I love the biscuits, bro. I have a thing playing around with biscuits. There's probably bags, 3 different styles of bags of biscuits in my freezer right now, and I make batches of them because I got a big family, 4 kids, so it's fast and easy for them breakfast as well, and any time of the day, really.
The one, actually, at least on the plane, strangely the most satisfying thing I ever had was instant ramen. I was on a flight back from Asia.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it, maybe it's a childhood thing, whatever, but I just remember outside I smelled something. I'm like, that smells like, you know, ramen. Like, what's going on? And I mean, it was just like, it just hot water, and it's nothing special. But it was just, and maybe
bouillon and water, yeah.
And I think because they're saying like your taste buds and everything's just dull, and so something like that has so much sodium. Yeah, I'm like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah. That's good. Turkish Airlines does great food.
They do good
everything.
They treat, even like their little amenity kits are, you know,
amazing.
Much better than I would have expected. I was like, oh.
Etihad is really good. Also Anna, Japanese airline Anna, amazing.
And most of the Asian airlines seem to do a pretty good job regardless.
It's just the competition is so fierce. It's gotta be special, you know.
So while I'm chopping over here, tell me about some of the other things that you're doing as well. Because I saw there was an art. There's
art installation.
Artist, yeah, and also with the was it the Gray County?
Yeah, Gray County.
You're an ambassador,
So with the art stuff, for the last few years, I've been doing art installations with the city of Toronto. I did a big one called The Burn, where we took over Nathan Phillips Square for 24 hours. I was part of one called Dismantle with Gordon Shadrack, where we took over the Spadina House and kind of decolonized it. And I did a food installation thing over the launching weekend. So I've been doing a lot of that stuff. And unbeknownst to anybody other than my family, I've been the last dozen years in my house painting and doing photography and just being creative in a new way outside of the music and the food. And I made this album called Sound Bites, and it's based on the concept that the average human attention span is now less than that of a goldfish at 8.25 seconds, right? And that's a study from 2015, so now we're down to like 0-second TikToks, as you know, right? So I was kind of obsessed with this notion of the compression of time, our relationship to time, and how attention deficit we are, and how as a creative person you manifest in the world with this conundrum where this is the situation, right? So I made this album called Sound Bites, where no song is longer than 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's based on the journey of life, from conception to end of life, in 3 movements, right? And so I did that album, and it's a very obtuse listen because, you're going in and out of emotion in like 45 seconds or 90 seconds or 60 seconds, and then you come out of that and you go into another one really quickly. And so it's very sort of jarring. So once I kind of smoothed that out a little bit, I realized this needs some more context. So I put visuals to every song. And I vowed that I would never do that, but this creative endeavor kind of demanded that. And it was at my fingertips now, right? So then I made visual art pieces to go with every piece of music. And then I like 3s. So to close out the trifecta, I wrote stories for every song and every visual that were 100-word stories maximum to deal with this compressed notion of time and attention, right? So I packaged that all together and made this album called Sound Bites, and it turned into this book. So this book here is the embodiment of sound bites, right?
Get a photo of you with.
So in it, the first half of the book is co-authored with this Nigerian award-winning author. So we spent months kind of talking, interviewing, and so that first half is essays that she wrote, kind of explaining both of our journeys into creativity, our childhood, history, but also why we create, and also going through the music and the art and the stories that are embodied in the sound bites thing. So at the beginning of the book, there's a QR code that drives you to the music. And then inside, for every piece, there is a visual art. It's all my art. So this visual art. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Visual art, and then there's a micro story to go with everything. And I wrote it like there's stories about ants climbing up a hill. There's stories about rocks falling down like appendages. There's like, you know, these sort of stories that are parabolic that on Tuesday you read it and it means completely something different when you read it on Thursday, you know, to you. So there's that kind of sensibility to it. And then at the back of the book are the lyrics to all of the songs. Okay? So that's for you, King.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
And I love that you did this because the one thing, I mean, I wish, because music now is all digital. So whereas in the past you had the album, like you had like the physical sort of representation of it, you had the artwork more of the written stuff, and you don't get that anymore with all the digital. You know, sure they have a little bit of album art here and there, but it's not the same. So the fact that you did this to go with your...
So the idea is, how do you take, because we're so interactive with our phones, right, but distracted from it at the same time, how do you bring that interactive element in the hand again with something tactile and slow? Making a painting is slow. Writing a story is slow. Making an album is slow, right? So all of these slow creative things in a fast world that's tactile, that gives you that experience of an album plus, right? So then this book turned into an art gallery exhibit at the Art Gallery in Hamilton, and I wanted to break the wall of touching art, because I go to like the Louvre and I want to touch the Mona Lisa, but you can't, right?
No, they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't like that. So this installation, there's the music on a QR code at the beginning, and you can follow along to each piece, and then there's a hung piece of canvas that is the visual art, and there's a dowel at the bottom, and you grab the dowel and lift it, and it reveals the story. So it allows you as the visitor to be an active, interactive participant while you're having this immersive experience of all these sensory things happen simultaneously. So, and it kind of democratizes and breaks that notion of don't touch the art, you know? I want you to touch the art. Because I want to like, because I've always had that urge in a gallery. So like finally if I get the rocks off, like
So tell me about the Grey County...
Yeah, so I'm the Culinary Ambassador of Grey County, which is just north of Toronto, 2 hours north of Toronto, going up to Owen Sound by the Georgian Bay. So what I love about Grey County is, I have a place up there called Rockland's Market that we do retreats out of, and I'm the program and culinary director there. So we do a lot of retreats and community-based events there for GTA and the local area.
And that's how you became involved with the county?
That's how I became involved with the county, yeah. And we've been there operating for 3 years. And since then, now I've become the Culinary Ambassador, because I've seen what is really interesting there is that when I'm in a big city, I love to go to the arts and see the access to the arts, and that I find really compelling, right? And the food culture, of course. And then when I go into smaller communities, like just outside of Kyoto, for instance, I love how there's like people living simple lives, doing normal things, but really dedicated to that craft and so passionate about this thing that they do, right? Grey County has the balance of both of those things. There's so many artisans like glass blowers, woodworkers, chefs, doing really world-class, beautiful work there, right? And so I get that buzz from like the urban feel from the artist world, but then you have all this access to farmers and farms doing alfalfa, hay, apples, sheep, pigs, cows, beef, the whole thing, and they're everywhere on the county. So as the chef part of me, it's like, I can go touch this stuff. It was in the ground an hour ago, and now I'm eating this thing, and it's incredible. They've been doing this for generations. So it's that balance of that creativity and passion around doing simple things that I love about it. And there's like, everybody I take up there They always say there's this indescribable feeling. It just feels like home. It just feels right. And so I'm still trying to quantify that feeling, but I have 100% rate of return on everybody I go up there saying that they feel the same thing. You know? So that's been really cool to be able to help to tell that story as a culinary ambassador, you know, from that perspective. Because, you know, culinary drives culture.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the first person to say it, but I've always said the best way to get to know a culture is through the food.
Best.
I'm sure I stole it from a fortune cookie or from, it's probably Anthony Bourdain or someone, you know.
And the art. I think the art is interesting, but yes,
and art, yeah.
The food. The food is the universal gateway. Because not everybody's into art, right?
Yeah.
But everybody got to eat.
Yeah. The number of trips I've planned around food is crazy. I mean, and even when I go somewhere, the first thing it's like,
where do you go? What's the spot?
Well, street food. I love anything. I'm like, what do the locals have that, you know, I might be risking my life, but I'll do it. Let's just go.
So here's the trick. Go find where the cabbies eat.
Ah.
Or like, depending where you are, the tuk-tuk drivers.
Yes.
Go find where they eat.
Good point.
That's the spots. The best place, the food I had in Cambodia, was at the places where the tuk-tuk drivers and the cabbies rode.
I can see that.
The best food I had in Malaysia is my favorite restaurant in the world. Actually, it's called Davies Corner.
Davies?
Yeah, it's basically like a roti shop with roti canai and banana leaf.
Uh-huh.
And it's all cabbies and local families.
Amazing.
Those are the spots.
So good. Although the one thing I'm still shocked about is I've never gotten sick from anything I've eaten.
Oh, that's good.
Even like in places where I'm like, I really probably shouldn't be eating that. I'm like, there's absolutely no refrigeration here. I don't know how, you know, the height, whatever. Let's just go for it. Actually sit in the sun all day, but I'm sure it's fine. Everyone else is eating it. Yeah, that was not always my best decisions at the moment, but I'm glad I did because it was just delicious. There's oftentimes I have no idea what I ate, but
yeah, I've gotten sick 3 times in Thailand, in Cusco, Peru, and in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh.
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing about that is I was eating everything around, like all the street food, all the wild shit, right? When I ate the fancy food at the hotel is when I got sick. Every 3 for 3. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I think the one time I got sick in China in Swatao, it was at a fancy restaurant. And I was like,
what the hell?
What the hell?
I just ate, this guy was like, yeah.
I just ate something, it was literally cooked in the pavement. And I was totally fine.
Exactly. So yes, that's been my experience.
Okay. So just finished a great meal with Chef Roger Mooking here at his restaurant Twist at Toronto Pearson International Airport, and I learned a lot of amazing things. If you're ever at the airport, make sure you swing by and say hello to everyone. Tell them King sent you. They probably won't remember who I am, but that's okay. So either way, if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. It really helps everything going on, and I will chat with you guys later and bring more culinary adventures. But for now, like I said, if you get a chance to swing by Twist here with Roger Mooking,